What's happening, everybody? So I did the first race of the season yesterday. It was not a triathlon. It was a road bike race, a cycling race up Doi Suthep here in Chiang Mai. I just found out about this race like a week ago, and I thought, why not give it a crack? You know, it's normally, I mean, I've done a couple road bike races in the past, and I've seen crashes, and I kind of got turned off of doing road cycling races. Much prefer triathlons, non-drafting, a lot safer. But because this one's uphill on a mountain that I ride all the time, the speed's going to be lower. The field's probably going to be a lot more spread out because, I mean, when you're on the flat, you can basically have a few guys on the front of the bunch doing all the work, and it's really easy for everybody to sit behind them. So when you get flat sections, like races that are flat, you often have just massive groups of people just basically like riding off of the hard work the strong people are doing in the front. So because it's going up a hill, it was much less likely to have big groups, lower speed. So anyways, decided to give it a crack. So I'll just go over how the race went for my own recollection if I want to look back, and also to share some of my insights and things that I've learned with you guys. So the race started off, it was just a little side street just at the bottom of the mountain there. So basically it was first the men under 18 went, and then it was the open men's category, so the strongest male category, and then all of the age group categories after that, and then all the females after that. So I was in the open men's category, so the 18-year-olds went off. About 2 minutes later, all the open male category went off, and right off the front there was another couple strong vegan riders on the front, and it was like boom, 400 watts. And I was just like, oh man, this is crazy. And I held on for a little bit, and then I was kind of thinking, you know what, there's no way these guys are gonna hold this, and I'm just gonna kill myself trying to do, you know, 400 watts here. That's like VO2 max intervals for me. So I decided to back off a little bit, do more like 340, 350 watts. And a bunch of people went with them, and then they all started to slowly pop off, except for the guy who ended up winning the race, Charlie. Kudos to Charlie. Another very strong vegan rider. I think he's only like 19 years old or something. It's crazy. But basically, so he was off, and then it was me. It ended up being me, and there was one other Thai rider who was on my wheel for almost the entire rest of the race. So we're going up, and I'm just like, man, I wanna lose this guy. So there were a couple of sections where I flicked my elbow, because generally if you're wanting to take turns, you flick your elbow or flick your wrist a little bit. And he didn't really respond. He didn't want to go in front and like take any of the wind, because even though, I mean, it's not a very steep climb, so even though we're going uphill, if he's sitting on my wheel, he is definitely benefiting off of that draft. So I was trying to get him to take a turn. Normally you would sort of switch off and take turns, and he didn't really want to take a turn. So I decided that I would attack. So I attacked at like 400 watts for, I don't know, a minute or so, and he just stayed right with me. So I was like, damn, that didn't work. And then eventually he did take a couple very short turns, but every time that he would go in front of me, he would bring the pace right down, you know, to like, I don't know, like just 60% of what we were doing before, like just not really taking a real turn on the front. And he had somebody on the motorbike coaching him as well. I don't know exactly what he was saying, but I think he was saying that when you go on the front, you know, go easier and then you'll save energy. So anyways, I started getting all in my head about tactics of like how I'm gonna drop this guy. And I started just getting really, I almost like lost motivation, just getting so much in my head of like, oh, you know, he's benefiting off of my hard work, and like, you know, he's a cheater. He's not a cheater, it's just tactics. Like, I could have stopped pedaling, I could have totally eased up, and like, it's just race tactics at the end of the day, or I could have tried harder and dropped him. But what ended up happening was, because my initial plan, because I can't sprint, like I'm not a very good sprinter, so my initial plan was to basically just hold on to whatever I could. I was hoping to hold on to the race leader, but he got out of touch. So my initial plan was to basically, because I can't sprint to the finish, for the last, you know, 4 or 5 minutes or so, to really put out the power, because I'm gonna have a much better chance at dropping people in the last 4 or 5 minutes off of like high but not crazy consistent power than I would off of like a 10-second sprint at the end. So that was my original plan, and towards the end I started to realize that I just needed to stick to my plan. And when we got to, because normally you go, if you know Doi Suthep, like the actual temple, which is where the like Strava segment usually ends, right in front of that temple. It's very steep leading up to that temple. But this race actually went another 500 meters past that point. So we passed that really steep point, and then you go another 500 meters, and then I thought it was going to end at the entrance to a road that goes up and to the right there. So basically, as soon as we passed that temple, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do, I don't know, 370 watts or something like that, like a decent amount of wattage to try to lose this guy. But he stayed with me, and I probably was not pushing as much wattage as I should have in those last few minutes, because I could have definitely squeezed more out of myself for the last 4 minutes or so, 3-4 minutes. But as soon as we got to that road, I was expecting it to end on the actual road, and it wasn't. We had to turn up this other road, which is like, sharp right-hand sharp right-hand curve going up to the right, and it's like a road that's got all these potholes, really sketchy road. And as soon as we turned on that road, he sprints ahead of me, and I'm just like, damn it, I don't want to, like, I just mentally, I didn't go. Like, I just didn't switch on. I should have just, right instantly, I should have just gone with him. But part of me in my head's thinking, this is a sketchy road, there's gonna be twisty, turny stuff with all kinds of potholes here. I don't really want to be sprinting on this road with him. So I essentially gave up at that point and let him have it. So that's what that is. What I learned from that is that I definitely need to, if I'm going to do another race like this, if I can be in that situation again, what I would have done differently is just really gone way harder for those last 4 minutes. Like, just squeezed every last bit of myself in those last 4 minutes, whether it was 400 watts, just holding those 400 watts, because I'm sure that I would have, I think that was the only shot I would have had at dropping this guy. So anyways, he ended up taking second, I ended up taking third place, which, I'm happy with that for sure. And Tori ended up taking first overall in the female race, another vegan female cyclist. So we had 2 vegans, first in the male race and first in the female race, and then little old me coming third in the men's race. So yeah, it was a good experience, definitely a lot of fun. Not my best performance up Doi Suthep, but yeah, it was good fun, definitely learned a lot. And yeah, super cool to do like a race just 5 minutes from my doorstep. Is really super convenient. Didn't have to travel around to Thailand to do the race or anything like that. But yeah, I consider that sort of a warm-up to get in that sort of race mentality. And I'll be doing my first triathlon in about 3 weeks in Hua Hin. So let me know if you guys are going to be out in Hua Hin for the Hua Hin triathlon, and maybe we can hook up out there. I'll be doing the sprint distance, and yeah, just try to smash it as best as I can. So if you guys have any questions or comments, post them down below. Thanks a lot for watching. Give the video a like, hit subscribe if you like what you're seeing, and I'll see you next video. Peace out.